All right, folks, Russ Vogt will seize this opportunity. That's the subject of the riff. Look, nobody's thrilled about government shutdowns. They're disruptive, they're acrimonious, disorderly. They get a lot more public attention than they really deserve. Meanwhile, there's no economic or stock market impact. In fact, as I said, a couple of these stock indexes actually hit record highs again today. Shutdowns don't affect essential programs either. Not affect Social Security, Medicare, veterans benefits, military operations, or others. But we do have a shutdown, and I'm going to say it. This shutdown provides an opportunity to greatly reduce the size and scope of the federal government. And when that door opens, it's important to walk through it. What's more, the quarterback of this opportunity is Russ Vogt, the OMB director. I can't think of a better person to be in that exact spot at exactly this moment. Russ has been working hard on these issues for many years. And because he's been working on these issues in and out of government for many years, he is ready to take the opportunity with an action plan. Now, here's what he told me yesterday. Please take a listen. You have the authority, the power, as I understand it, to actually cut jobs and cut programs rather than just furlough them. Is that the case, Russ?
We do. We have the authority to make permanent change to the bureaucracy here in government. And I think the takeaway for the American people is that we are on the brink of a government shutdown that is caused entirely by Democrats based on their outrageous demands of about $1.5 trillion. So we're not going to be held hostage to these kinds of insane, ridiculous demands by the Democrats.
Well, there you have it. Pretty clear to me. Now, Russ is unencumbered by institutional restraints. And by that, I mean he's never served as a senator or as a House member. He was the OMB director in the first term when we worked together, became good friends. But that experience just sharpened his instincts and his knowledge. I don't know how many federal employees he will fire during this shutdown. I don't know how many programs he will eliminate. But there are hundreds of unnecessary programs. And by one account in this morning's papers, something like 800,000, I think, unnecessary federal employees could be on the chopping block. Now, some 300,000 federal workers are already leaving voluntarily with generous severance pay and buyouts. So it's possible the federal government could be 1 million employees smaller than when Mr. Trump was inaugurated. And that brings me to another key point. Russ Vogt believes in executive power. That means the president. And I totally agree. The unelected federal bureaucracy should not run the government. It should be run by the chief executive. This includes agencies and boards, commissions, you name it. There's no fourth branch of government. Now, let's go for budget impoundment authority to curb unnecessary and wasteful spending. I know it's controversial, but let's try it because I believe the president would win that. How about agency commissioners? They should be subject to presidential appointment and dismissal. Many of these executive powers existed for a couple of hundred years before a left-wing Congress removed them during the Richard Nixon Watergate scandal. Well, I think those powers should all be reclaimed. I believe I share this point of view with Russ Vogt. Deregulating the economy, cutting taxes, ending unnecessary spending, all means towards a very prosperous economy. Now is the time to seize that opportunity. And that's the riff.